When Meghan Markle stepped onto the streets of Paris for Balenciaga's Paris Fashion Week event, the world didn't know it yet, but a storm was about to erupt. In an instant, one outfit would dominate headlines, ignite social media, and spark reactions that ranged from laughter to outright disbelief. Some called it audacious, others called it bizarre, and a few whispered the word disaster. But the real question, the one that echoed in the minds of fashion critics, royal watchers, and casual onlookers alike was this: why would someone of Meghan Markle's influence risk it all on an outfit that looked, well, like it had been borrowed from the prop closet of a Hollywood parody? The day started like any other Paris Fashion Week morning. The city was buzzing with the usual energy, the click of heels on cobblestones, the hum of limousines gliding past the Louvre, the flashes of cameras capturing every haute couture moment. Designers, models, and influencers were ready, rehearsed, and confident. But nothing could prepare them for Meghan. Draped in a long white cape-style dress, with a long piece of fabric wrapped around her chest and under her neck, her look was stark, minimal, and undeniably attention-grabbing. A black purse rested at her side, her hair pulled back neatly, and the absence of accessories made the ensemble feel deliberate, almost ceremonial. But in fashion, intent and perception are often miles apart, and this was about to become painfully clear. Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. Within minutes, screenshots and GIFs of Meghan's appearance were circulating across X, Instagram, TikTok, and countless fashion blogs. One X user juxtaposed Meghan's image with Ben Stiller's iconic pose from Zoolander, captioning it, "Meghan Markle trying to give Zoolander a run for his supermodel walk. Zoolander wrapped in holy toilet paper. That's the twerkle vibe for Balenciaga LOL." The meme was vicious in its humor, yet strangely poetic, encapsulating exactly what many were feeling. Meghan's look had struck a chord, but not in the way anyone might have expected. The reactions didn't stop there. Fashion critics were buzzing. Social media influencers debated whether this was a bold statement or a misstep of epic proportions. Even some of Meghan's supporters were hesitant, scratching their heads and questioning the choices she made that day. Across Paris, whispers of "what was she thinking" and "why would anyone approve that" were muttered in the corridors of fashion houses, high-end boutiques, and hotel lobbies. And then, of course, came the statement that would turn a public discussion into an international sensation. Balenciaga CEO reportedly expressed frustration at the appearance, with language that was both candid and brutal. In a world where diplomacy is often preferred, this was shockingly direct. According to industry insiders, the sentiment was clear: why wrap yourself like toilet paper? It wasn't just a critique of an outfit. It was a critique of judgment, of brand alignment, and of what it means to appear in one of fashion's most prestigious arenas. The significance of this moment cannot be overstated. Balenciaga isn't just a brand. It's a cultural institution, a symbol of design excellence, avant-garde thinking, and luxury. Every choice, every appearance, every collaboration is meticulously orchestrated. When Meghan chose to wear that ensemble, whether consciously or unintentionally, she stepped into a role that carried enormous weight. The outfit, the posture, the presentation, all of it was under scrutiny. Every photograph, every tweet, every meme became part of a global narrative, influencing opinions, shaping perceptions, and potentially impacting millions of dollars in brand equity. But let's pause and consider the bigger picture. This isn't just about a dress or a meme. It's about power, influence, and perception. It's about what happens when a global figure steps into a cultural moment that they are not fully prepared for, or when their preparation is misread entirely. Fashion, much like politics, is theater, and Meghan Markle, whether intentionally or not, became the protagonist of a story that the world couldn't look away from. There were whispers behind the scenes about the approval process. Was this her stylist's choice, or hers alone? Did Balenciaga anticipate this reaction, or did the CEO's remark come from genuine shock? These are questions the public may never know the answers to, but the speculation only added fuel to the fire. Meanwhile, social media was relentless. Memes evolved, hashtags trended, and GIFs circulated with increasing velocity. Each post, each share, each comment served to amplify the narrative. Some observers saw the humor, others saw a betrayal of taste, and a few saw a symbolic act, an attempt by Meghan to assert her identity in a space dominated by tradition, rules, and unspoken hierarchies. It was a moment of audacity, and audacity, in fashion, can either crown you or destroy you. And yet, even as the world dissected the outfit, there was an underlying tension. Was this merely a misstep, a funny moment in the endless scroll of social media, or was it a harbinger of something more significant? For Balenciaga, the stakes were high. A misaligned celebrity appearance can ripple across months of campaigns, collaborations, and brand messaging. For Meghan, the impact on her public image, especially within fashion circles and royal observers, was immediate and undeniable. Every comment, every critique, every laugh, or gasp became part of a larger conversation about power, influence, and control in the world of high-profile public appearances. Even beyond the fashion world, this moment resonated on a broader cultural level. It touched on the fascination society has with royalty, celebrity, and spectacle. It exposed the tension between private intent and public perception. It reminded us that in the age of instant communication, no decision exists in isolation. Every outfit choice, every pose, every smile carries consequences that can reverberate across continents, across industries, and across the collective imagination of millions. And while some might dismiss this as trivial, there is a reason the CEO's words, "Why wrap yourself like toilet paper?" echoed so loudly. It was a blunt encapsulation of a moment where art, celebrity, and commerce collided in ways that were both absurd and revealing. It highlighted the fragility of brand image, the mercurial nature of public opinion, and the razor-thin line between admiration and ridicule. This is the reality of being a public figure today. One step forward, one outfit, one meme, and the world has an opinion that can stick like a stain. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Behind the social media jokes, behind the viral memes, behind the CEO's remarks, there's a deeper story about strategy, image management, and the pressures of navigating multiple identities simultaneously. Meghan Markle is not just a celebrity. She is a royal figure, a cultural influencer, a former actress, and a brand unto herself. Each public appearance is a calculated act, whether consciously or subconsciously, and each response from the world is a reflection not just on her choices, but on the intricate ecosystem of perception surrounding her. And just when you think the story couldn't escalate further, whispers began circulating about internal discussions at Balenciaga, speculations from fashion insiders, and the unrelenting scrutiny from media outlets across the globe. Every day brought a new headline, a new angle, a new meme, and each one made the world ask the same question. What was she thinking? Was this a miscalculation, an intentional statement, or something else entirely? And that is where we begin our story. Not with judgment, not with ridicule, but with the raw, unfiltered reality of a moment that captured the world's attention. The outfit, the memes, the CEO's comments. They are all part of a narrative that tells us something about celebrity, culture, and the intersection of image and influence in the 21st century. But what came next would change everything, and no one saw it coming. When Meghan Markle appeared at Balenciaga's Paris Fashion Week show, all eyes immediately shifted from the runway to her. In a room filled with some of the most stylish, polished, and camera-ready figures in fashion, she became the focal point. Not for the dress's elegance or the cut of its fabric, but for the sheer audacity of her appearance. The outfit was unlike anything anyone had anticipated. A long white cape-style dress flowed to the floor, ethereal yet oddly constricting in its design. A long white piece of fabric wrapped around her chest and under her neck, creating a look that critics would later call otherworldly, confusing, and in some corners of social media, toilet paper chic. The minimalist approach, no heavy jewelry, no visible accessories, hair pulled neatly back, amplified the drama, leaving the ensemble stark and commanding. The moment she entered the venue, the camera flashes intensified. Photographers jockeyed for the best angle, capturing every step, every sway, every subtle turn of her head. Some whispered behind the cameras, debating whether the look was intentional art or a major fashion misstep. The world of high fashion is no stranger to the avant-garde, yet Meghan's outfit seemed to toe a line that left even seasoned critics scratching their heads. Was it bold? Certainly. Was it understandable in the context of Balenciaga's reputation for pushing boundaries? Perhaps. But was it appropriate for a royal-turned-celebrity making her first significant European fashion appearance in years? That was an entirely different question. Backstage, insiders reportedly murmured among themselves. Models adjusted their garments and accessories, casting sidelong glances at Meghan's entrance. Some were amused, others seemed concerned. Fashion Week is a theater of perception, a delicate balance between innovation and tradition. One misstep, or what appears to be a misstep, can dominate headlines for weeks. And that is precisely what happened. The outfit, by virtue of its stark minimalism and unusual wrapping, became the center of conversation before the show even began. The design itself demanded attention. The cape-style dress flowed with fluidity, yet the wrapped chest section created a visual tension that many described as contradictory. It attempted elegance, but the stark linearity and the lack of adornment resulted in a look that some interpreted as rigid, cold, or even ceremonial in tone. The long black purse she held at her side added contrast, but it was a small visual anchor in a sea of white. Meghan's hair, sleekly pulled back, left her face exposed, vulnerable, and intensely scrutinized. Every feature, every expression, every glance was now under the gaze of the world. Social media exploded almost immediately. Images of her in the dress circulated, with commentary ranging from admiration to disbelief. Fashion critics dissected the outfit in minute detail: the cut of the cape, the folds of the fabric, the way it fell across her shoulders. Bloggers speculated about the stylistic intentions, the message, and the brand alignment. Meanwhile, Twitter and X users mocked, memified, and gamified the moment, turning Meghan's look into instant internet fodder. One viral post compared her to Ben Stiller's Zoolander, wrapped in holy toilet paper, a description that would become emblematic of the public's bewilderment. Yet, as much as the memes and commentary dominated online discourse, there was a deeper narrative unfolding. Balenciaga, a brand known for meticulous curation and strategic celebrity collaborations, had now placed its reputation in the hands of a royal whose every public appearance is dissected and magnified. The CEO's reportedly exasperated remark, "Why wrap yourself like toilet paper?" was not just a critique of an outfit, but an acknowledgement of the precarious position the brand now found itself in. For executives, public perception is currency, and in the world of luxury fashion, the wrong alignment can be catastrophic. Critics drew comparisons to previous royal appearances at fashion events. Princess Diana had managed to make bold statements without inciting ridicule. Kate Middleton's choices were praised for their careful balance of tradition and modernity. Meghan's appearance, by contrast, seemed to exist in a realm where avant-garde fashion met celebrity audacity, with an outcome that neither fashion experts nor the public could easily categorize. The lines between daring and disastrous blurred, leaving audiences divided. Audience engagement became instantaneous. Live feeds from the event showed viewers' reactions as they scrolled, paused, and replayed footage of Meghan walking. Comment sections filled with a mix of praise, confusion, and outright mockery. Fashion forums debated whether this was intentional shock value dressing or a miscalculation of context. Some commentators argued it was an artful challenge to fashion norms. Others claimed it was tone-deaf, a misalignment between intention and perception. The stakes were clear. In a world where celebrity appearances are meticulously planned and instantly disseminated across global networks, every detail, down to the folds of fabric, becomes a statement. Meanwhile, the cultural impact of this appearance extended beyond fashion. Meghan Markle's identity as a former royal, Hollywood star, and media personality meant that her choices carried layers of meaning. The public couldn't simply evaluate the outfit in isolation. Was it a subtle rebellion? A nod to avant-garde artistic sensibilities? Or a misstep born of inexperience in navigating the intersection of royal protocol and celebrity culture? Each interpretation carried consequences for her public image, brand affiliations, and the broader narrative surrounding her role in both popular culture and high society. The reactions weren't purely visual. Tone and emotion played a role as well. Onlookers described a combination of awe, shock, and discomfort. The stark minimalism left her figure exposed to scrutiny. The wrapped fabric suggested restraint, but also tension. Meghan's poised demeanor contrasted with the public's reaction. She moved confidently, yet every step amplified speculation. In fashion, confidence can sometimes salvage a controversial look. In this case, it amplified curiosity and critique alike. But perhaps the most telling reaction came from the audience's online response. The Zoolander meme became more than humor. It became shorthand for the confusion and incredulity the outfit elicited. Humor, after all, is often society's first response to discomfort. By comparing her to a fictional supermodel wrapped in toilet paper, the public encapsulated their reaction in a way that spread faster than any formal critique. Memes democratize commentary, transforming analysis into entertainment, and in doing so, they ensured that Meghan's look would be remembered, shared, and dissected endlessly. Fashion insiders speculated about the decision-making process behind the outfit. Was it approved by Balenciaga's stylists? Was it Meghan's own vision? Could the CEO have anticipated the backlash? These questions, unanswered and possibly unanswerable, added layers to the drama. The narrative was no longer solely about clothing. It was about strategy, influence, and perception in an environment where every move is magnified. By the end of the night, the outfit had achieved a rare distinction. It was both iconic and polarizing. It sparked debates in luxury boutiques, editorial offices, and social media feeds. It provoked laughter, admiration, confusion, and, in some cases, outrage. And all of this stemmed from a single visual decision: a long white cape-style dress with fabric wrapped in a way that confounded expectations. And yet, even with all the attention, the story was far from over. The reactions of social media, the CEO, fashion critics, and the public would continue to escalate, revealing layers of intrigue and consequence that no one saw coming. For Balenciaga, the stakes were higher than ever. For Meghan, the moment would become a defining point in her public persona, a flashpoint that would dominate discussion, debate, and dissection for weeks to come. But what happened next, how the world responded, and how Balenciaga reacted, would turn this fashion moment into a full-blown cultural event, and it all began with that first step into the spotlight. Within hours of Meghan Markle's entrance at Balenciaga's Paris Fashion Week show, social media erupted. The internet, as it so often does, moved faster than any press release or editorial could. Screenshots circulated, GIFs were shared, and commentary exploded across X, Instagram, and TikTok. Memes began to appear like wildfire, each one a clever, or cruel, interpretation of Meghan's look. One post in particular caught fire: a gif of Ben Stiller from Zoolander, exaggeratedly strutting down a runway, juxtaposed next to Meghan's wrapped white ensemble. The caption? Meghan Markle trying to give Zoolander a run for his supermodel walk. Zoolander wrapped in holy toilet paper. That's the twerkle vibe for Balenciaga, LOL. The humor was biting, but it wasn't just about the outfit. It was about the way the outfit communicated something entirely unexpected to the world. It's fascinating to consider how a single image can ignite such a cultural phenomenon. In the past, fashion mishaps might have been confined to editorial spreads or whispered gossip among elite circles. Today, one Instagram post or X screenshot can travel around the globe in seconds, creating a shared experience of astonishment, humor, and judgment. Memes, by nature, distill complex reactions into digestible, often humorous packages. Meghan's appearance was the perfect storm for this process, visually striking, unusual in context, and amplified by her status as a royal celebrity. The internet's response was immediate and relentless. Some memes poked fun at the unusual wrapping of her outfit, likening it to toilet paper or ceremonial robes. Others focused on the stark minimalism of the ensemble, contrasting it with Meghan's poised demeanor to create a sense of absurdity. Social media users debated endlessly. Was this fashion-forward or fashion faux pas? Bold artistic statement or catastrophic miscalculation? The tension between admiration and ridicule fueled engagement, ensuring that Meghan's appearance wouldn't be forgotten anytime soon. The speed at which the memes spread was staggering. Within minutes, influencers, commentators, and fashion enthusiasts were sharing their own takes, building upon each other's humor and critique. Platforms like TikTok amplified the effect further, transforming images into short, looping videos that highlighted the drama, strangeness, or unintended comedy of the look. Each share, like, and comment functioned as a digital echo, reinforcing the narrative and making it impossible to ignore. Humor, of course, played a key role in the viral storm. But there was also an undercurrent of social commentary. Memes serve as more than entertainment. They are a reflection of collective perception. In this case, the juxtaposition of Meghan's royal status with the unconventional outfit created an irresistible target. It wasn't merely about the dress. It was about the audacity of the figure wearing it, the cultural weight she carries, and the expectations placed upon her as a public personality. The meme culture distilled these complex dynamics into instantly recognizable imagery and captions. The viral storm wasn't limited to lighthearted humor. Some content took a more critical tone, questioning whether Meghan's stylist, or Meghan herself, had misjudged the environment. Others speculated about intent. Was this an attempt to assert individuality in a highly structured world of royal and celebrity appearances? Or was it a simple oversight, a clash of vision and context that spiraled out of control? Each meme, each post, and each reaction contributed to a layered narrative that extended beyond the fashion world and into the broader public consciousness. Analysts noted that Meghan's appearance achieved something rare in contemporary culture. It unified disparate audiences in a single conversation. Fashion enthusiasts, royal watchers, casual social media users, and cultural commentators were all reacting, interpreting, and contributing to the phenomenon. The memes acted as a bridge, connecting different perspectives and amplifying engagement in a way that traditional media coverage could never replicate. One tweet compared her to an avant-garde statue. Another likened her to a ghostly figure wandering the runway. Each new interpretation reinforced the central narrative. Meghan had created a visual moment that could not be ignored. Interestingly, the memes also revealed how the public perceives celebrity risk-taking. In an age where every appearance is scrutinized, the line between praise and ridicule is razor-thin. Memes function as both judgment and entertainment, providing a socially acceptable outlet for criticism while simultaneously spreading awareness. Meghan's look became a case study in the mechanics of virality, a single bold choice, amplified by status and context, generating unprecedented attention. The speed and intensity of the meme storm had tangible consequences. Social media algorithms prioritized posts that garnered engagement, which in turn exposed even more users to Meghan's look. News outlets and fashion blogs picked up the memes, embedding them in articles that analyzed both the humor and the implications. Celebrities commented, influencers created reaction videos, and the conversation snowballed into a full-blown cultural event. By the end of the day, Meghan Markle's outfit was not just a fashion choice. It was a global talking point, a viral phenomenon that transcended traditional boundaries. What's remarkable is how this reaction loop highlights the interplay between public perception and celebrity behavior. Meghan's look was interpreted, reinterpreted, and codified through humor, criticism, and collective engagement. The memes didn't just mock the outfit. They reflected societal expectations, cultural standards, and the heightened scrutiny that comes with fame. In effect, the public was participating in a dialogue with itself, using Meghan's appearance as the catalyst for discussion, judgment, and entertainment. And yet, even amid the laughter, shock, and critique, the memes carried an implicit acknowledgement. Meghan had achieved visibility, attention, and relevance in a way few celebrities can claim. The outfit had sparked conversation, dominated timelines, and influenced digital culture in a matter of hours. It was a reminder of the power of imagery, context, and persona in shaping public discourse. But while the memes were circulating and the world reacted, behind the scenes, the conversation had shifted. Industry insiders, Balenciaga staff, and executives were reportedly monitoring the fallout closely. The viral humor had real-world implications for brand perception, collaborations, and marketing strategies. The CEO's earlier private frustrations would soon take on a public dimension, blurring the lines between critique, commentary, and controversy. And just when it seemed that the storm could not grow any larger, the next wave hit. Fashion critics began weighing in, juxtaposing Meghan's outfit with her past appearances, analyzing the dress in detail, and speculating on how it might influence Balenciaga's brand image moving forward. The memes had set the stage, But the expert commentary and public discussion were only beginning. By the end of the day, one thing was clear. Meghan Markle had achieved a rare kind of cultural omnipresence. Every tweet, every post, every meme contributed to a story larger than fashion. A story about celebrity, perception, and the power of the internet to amplify even the smallest of gestures. And while many laughed, some cringed, and a few applauded, no one could deny the impact of that moment. But what came next, when the CEO's frustration became public and the fashion world responded in kind, would escalate the story into a drama that no one, not even Meghan herself, could fully control. The moment the memes began circulating, the reaction inside Balenciaga headquarters was immediate and electric. A brand that had cultivated its image over decades, carefully curating every campaign, collaboration, and runway presentation, was suddenly thrust into a whirlwind of scrutiny, ridicule, and uncontrolled narrative. And at the center of this storm was Meghan Markle. According to multiple fashion insiders, the CEO of Balenciaga, a figure known for precision and strategic thinking, was reportedly caught off guard by the public's reaction. While the outfit may have been intended as avant-garde, minimalist, or high fashion, the reality was that it had landed in the public sphere in a way that no one could have anticipated. In private conversations that would later leak to industry insiders, the CEO allegedly exclaimed, "Why wrap yourself like toilet paper?" A line that would encapsulate both incredulity and frustration. It wasn't merely a criticism of an outfit. It was a reflection of brand risk, public perception, and the fragile balance of influence in the luxury fashion world. Inside the offices of Balenciaga, tension was palpable. Teams of marketing experts, stylists, and PR professionals convened in urgent meetings, assessing the damage. Social media analytics were being scrutinized in real time. Every meme, every share, every comment was dissected. This was more than a viral moment. It was a case study in brand vulnerability. The question everyone was asking: how could a single celebrity appearance create a ripple effect that threatened to undermine the careful, painstakingly cultivated image of a global fashion powerhouse? Executives debated the situation fiercely. Some argued that this was a calculated risk, a bold statement consistent with Balenciaga's avant-garde ethos. Others contended that the choice of a public figure like Meghan Markle, a royal celebrity whose every move is dissected, analyzed, and amplified, was inherently volatile. The juxtaposition of celebrity and brand had always been a delicate dance, and in this case, the choreography had faltered. Reports suggest that private discussions between the CEO and senior creative directors became tense. Words like disaster, misalignment, and brand risk were reportedly thrown around. The CEO's frustration, while blunt, highlighted a fundamental principle of fashion brand management. Perception is reality. A garment, no matter how avant-garde or artistically meaningful, is only as effective as the context in which it is received. And in Meghan's case, the context, a public filled with social media commentary, memes, and viral scrutiny, had created a perfect storm. The outrage wasn't limited to private exclamations. Internal emails, messages, and memos reportedly circulated within the company, analyzing every element of Meghan's look: the fabric, the cut, the minimalistic accessories, and the way it was wrapped. Stylists debated whether the ensemble should have been adjusted, whether additional accessories could have softened the visual impact, or whether Meghan herself had misunderstood the intended look. Each discussion highlighted the tension between creative vision and practical presentation in a high-stakes environment. Fashion insiders indicate that Balenciaga's legal and PR teams were immediately mobilized. The brand's reputation, built over decades through careful partnerships, meticulous campaigns, and high-profile collaborations, was suddenly vulnerable. Every share, every meme, and every comment carried weight. A viral moment, while sometimes beneficial, can also create unintended associations. For a luxury brand, such associations could influence everything from investor confidence to future collaborations. The CEO's frustration, then, was rooted not in personal offense, but in the tangible consequences of public perception. Interestingly, the CEO's remark, mocking Meghan for the toilet paper aesthetic, also reflected a deeper tension within the fashion world: the balance between avant-garde experimentation and public reception. High fashion thrives on pushing boundaries, challenging norms, and redefining aesthetics. Yet, even in this context, there are unspoken rules about audience expectation, context, and the interplay between celebrity persona and brand identity. Meghan's appearance, for better or worse, disrupted that balance. While internal debate raged, employees and collaborators began documenting their observations. Photographers, stylists, and assistants shared their impressions of Meghan's demeanor, confident yet calculated, poised yet slightly awkward in navigating the intense attention. Some insiders noted that her movements, slow, deliberate steps, precise posture, were reminiscent of runway models, yet out of sync with the broader ambience of the fashion show. It created a visual dissonance, a contrast between intention and perception, which amplified scrutiny both inside and outside the company. The CEO's reaction also underscored the stakes of celebrity alignment in fashion. Partnering with a public figure like Meghan Markle brings both visibility and risk. Every appearance, every photo, every moment is magnified exponentially. While the potential for brand elevation exists, the downside, a misread outfit, a viral meme, or a misinterpreted gesture, can be catastrophic. For Balenciaga, a single wardrobe choice had become a case study in the fragility of luxury branding. Behind closed doors, discussions turned strategic. Should the brand issue a statement? Should they distance themselves, or lean into the controversy as a calculated marketing maneuver? Every option carried risk. The memes were already circulating, irreversibly embedding themselves in public consciousness. Public relations teams weighed potential fallout, considering not just immediate backlash but long-term brand perception. Could a single moment overshadow months, or even years of careful positioning? For the CEO, the question was urgent and immediate: how to regain control of the narrative before it spiraled further. Interestingly, this moment revealed a rare human element in the often sterile world of corporate fashion management. The CEO, known for a calm, meticulous approach, reportedly reacted with a mixture of incredulity and exasperation. This reaction, simultaneously emotional and strategic, underscored a key reality. Even at the highest levels, human judgment intersects with brand stewardship. Fashion, after all, is not just commerce. It is cultural influence, emotional resonance, and aesthetic communication. A single misstep or misalignment can reverberate across continents, social strata, and cultural dialogues. Meanwhile, whispers of leaked conversations began circulating among fashion insiders. Speculation about internal frustration, debates over styling decisions, and private comments made in the heat of the moment added fuel to the public's fascination. Every insider perspective, whether verified or speculative, became part of the broader narrative, reinforcing the idea that Meghan's outfit was not just a fashion choice, but a catalyst for industry-wide conversation. By the end of the day, it was clear that the CEO's outrage was not a fleeting emotion, but a marker of high-stakes crisis management in real time. Balenciaga's leadership had to navigate the storm of public opinion, internal analysis, and media amplification, all while preserving the brand's identity and credibility. The viral meme culture had created a double-edged sword: visibility and risk, humor and critique, fascination and controversy. And as the fashion world watched, dissected, and debated, one undeniable truth emerged. Meghan Markle had managed, intentionally or not, to become the focal point of a cultural event that transcended the runway. The CEO's blunt remark captured the tension perfectly, a combination of incredulity, exasperation, and a recognition that, in the world of luxury fashion, a single moment could redefine narrative, influence perception, and ignite global conversation. But what came next? The formal reactions from critics, insiders, and the public would escalate the drama even further, turning a single appearance into a defining moment of viral, cultural, and industry-wide significance. When Meghan Markle stepped into the spotlight at Balenciaga's Paris Fashion Week show, the world of fashion critics collectively held its breath. Fashion, after all, is an ecosystem where image, identity, and context collide, and no celebrity, or royal, walks into that ecosystem unobserved. Meghan, as a former royal and cultural icon, carries the weight of both history and expectation. Every public appearance is scrutinized, every choice dissected, and every step measured against decades of precedent. And now, in the high-stakes arena of Paris Fashion Week, she had created a moment that critics could neither ignore nor easily categorize. From the beginning, the tension was palpable. Fashion critics are not merely observers. They are the gatekeepers of style, taste, and influence. Their words have power, shaping public perception, influencing brand reputation, and even dictating market trends. Meghan's outfit, a long white cape-style dress with a wrapped chest piece, became a lightning rod for this critique. Some described it as avant-garde, bold, and theatrical. Others found it baffling, confusing, and ill-conceived. The divide was stark, highlighting the subjective nature of fashion judgment and the heightened scrutiny that accompanies royalty. Critics drew immediate comparisons to past royal appearances at high-profile fashion events. Princess Diana had set a standard for elegance and poise, blending boldness with sophistication. Kate Middleton had mastered a balance between tradition and modernity, garnering praise for calculated style choices that aligned seamlessly with her public persona. Meghan, however, had ventured into uncharted territory, blending celebrity audacity with avant-garde fashion in a way that unsettled both traditionalists and modernists. This divergence became the focal point of critical discussion. Articles began appearing within hours. Headlines ranged from analytical, Meghan Markle's Balenciaga look, bold or misguided, to sensational, royal disaster on the runway. Critics explored every angle: the structural elements of the dress, the symbolism of the white fabric, and the minimalist approach to accessories. They analyzed the way Meghan carried herself, her posture, and the subtle interplay between confidence and awkwardness. Every element of her presentation was interpreted, theorized, and debated. Some critics applauded Meghan for her risk-taking. In a world where celebrities often play it safe, she had chosen to embrace an aesthetic that challenged conventional beauty and fashion norms. Her confidence, they argued, elevated the outfit from mere clothing to a statement, a performance, and an artistic exploration. Others, however, were less forgiving. They criticized the lack of traditional structure, the awkward wrapping of the chest piece, and the stark minimalism, suggesting that it detracted from her natural elegance and created a sense of visual dissonance. The debate extended beyond the dress itself. Critics examined the broader implications of Meghan's choices for her personal brand and public perception. As a former royal, she exists within a liminal space, balancing celebrity influence with institutional expectation. Each appearance is a negotiation of identity, a statement of intent, and a reflection of her understanding of public optics. In this instance, critics argued, the negotiation was imperfect, resulting in a look that was polarizing and, in some circles, controversial. Online, the discussion mirrored the critical divide. Fashion forums and social media platforms became arenas for debate, with users dissecting every aspect of the ensemble. Some praised Meghan's boldness, celebrating her willingness to defy convention and assert individuality. Others mocked the visual aesthetic, echoing memes and viral commentary that compared her to everything from avant-garde statues to ceremonial robes. The intersection of critique, humor, and virality created a feedback loop, amplifying the conversation and ensuring that Meghan's look remained at the forefront of public consciousness. Interestingly, the critical response revealed deeper tensions in the perception of royalty in contemporary culture. Royals are often expected to embody tradition, restraint, and elegance, while celebrities are granted more latitude to experiment, provoke, and disrupt. Meghan, occupying both spaces simultaneously, challenged these expectations. Critics grappled with the difficulty of evaluating her appearance. Should it be assessed as celebrity fashion, royal decorum, or a hybrid of both? The ambiguity fueled both fascination and critique, creating a rich landscape for discussion. Furthermore, some critics noted the role of context in shaping perception. Balenciaga, a brand synonymous with avant-garde design and conceptual innovation, provided a backdrop that both amplified and complicated Meghan's look. Within the context of a fashion house known for pushing boundaries, the outfit could be interpreted as daring and thoughtful. Yet, within the broader context of public expectation, media scrutiny, and royal precedent, it risked being read as tone-deaf or misaligned. The duality of interpretation became a central theme in critical analyses. Emotionally, the critiques were layered. Admiration, envy, curiosity, and confusion all intertwined. Some writers expressed subtle awe at Meghan's confidence and willingness to take risks. Others conveyed exasperation, suggesting that her choices undermined her credibility or distracted from the broader fashion narrative. The mix of positive and negative feedback highlighted the complexity of evaluating high-profile appearances, particularly when the subject defies easy categorization. Critics also considered the potential consequences for Balenciaga. A viral moment, while often desirable, carries risk. If the public perceives a celebrity appearance as misaligned with brand identity, the impact can extend beyond memes and commentary, affecting partnerships, market perception, and long-term reputation. Meghan's appearance, therefore, became not just a fashion moment but a case study in the intersection of celebrity influence, brand strategy, and public discourse. The conversation continued across multiple media platforms. Podcasts dissected the look in detail, panel discussions debated the implications, and op-eds explored the broader cultural significance. Each analysis contributed to a layered understanding of the event, transforming a single outfit into a multifaceted story about identity, perception, and influence. And while critics debated, the public remained engaged. Comments sections and social media threads were filled with reactions, personal opinions, and memes. The tension between expert critique and popular sentiment created a dynamic feedback loop, where opinion, humor, and analysis intersected. Meghan's look became a cultural mirror, reflecting not only the values and expectations of fashion insiders, but also the collective curiosity and judgment of a global audience. By the end of the day, one conclusion was inescapable. Meghan Markle had become the center of a debate that extended far beyond the runway. Critics had dissected her choices, weighed her intentions, and considered the implications for both her personal brand and the Balenciaga image. Every step, every detail, every visual element was interpreted, creating a narrative that would dominate headlines and online discussions for weeks. But what came next? The direct response from social media, celebrities, and the wider cultural sphere would elevate this moment from a fashion critique into a viral phenomenon that no one, not even Meghan herself, could fully control. The moment Meghan Markle appeared in her Balenciaga ensemble, social media ignited. Within minutes, posts, GIFs, and screenshots were circulating across platforms at a velocity only the modern internet can produce. X, Instagram, TikTok, each served as a battleground where humor, critique, and fascination collided. Memes proliferated, videos looped endlessly, and hashtags began trending, solidifying Meghan's appearance as a global conversation point. The internet, as always, had transformed a single fashion choice into a full-blown cultural event. One of the earliest viral moments came from a comparison meme that juxtaposed Meghan's wrapped ensemble with Ben Stiller's iconic Zoolander runway walk. The caption read, "Meghan Markle trying to give Zoolander a run for his supermodel walk. Zoolander wrapped in holy toilet paper." That's the twerkle vibe for Balenciaga, LOL. The humor was savage yet poignant, highlighting both the eccentricity of the outfit and the way her royal celebrity status amplified every visual choice. Memes like this distilled complex critique into shareable, digestible commentary, allowing millions to engage with the narrative simultaneously. Engagement escalated rapidly. Likes, retweets, shares, and comments snowballed as users dissected every detail of the look: the cape's drape, the chest wrapping, the stark minimalism, and even the way she carried her black purse. The speed of dissemination meant that the moment wasn't confined to the fashion community. Casual social media users, pop culture fans, and even international audiences were analyzing the look in real time. By the hour, Meghan Markle had become the epicenter of global attention, not for her appearance at a runway show per se, but for the viral storm she had unwittingly created. TikTok played a critical role in amplifying the discussion. Short, looping videos showcased side-by-side comparisons, slow-motion walks, and creative interpretations of the outfit. Users added commentary, reactions, and music, transforming Meghan's appearance into a performance both celebrated and mocked. The GIFs, memes, and videos created a feedback loop, Each share amplified engagement, which in turn fueled more content creation, accelerating virality. Meghan's fashion moment had become a living, breathing phenomenon, evolving dynamically with every post. The social media explosion wasn't limited to humor. Critique emerged alongside comedy. Users debated whether the outfit represented bold, fashion-forward thinking or an aesthetic miscalculation. Comment threads exploded with opinions ranging from admiration for her daring choices to incredulity at the visual impact. Discussions often referenced royal expectations, comparing Meghan's modern approach to the measured elegance of Princess Diana or the poised consistency of Kate Middleton. This juxtaposition highlighted the unique pressures Meghan faced as both a former royal and a public celebrity. Interestingly, the viral storm also revealed how public perception interacts with identity and expectation. Celebrities often operate under intense scrutiny, but royals occupy a rarefied position where tradition, public duty, and cultural symbolism intersect. Meghan's ensemble was more than clothing. It was a statement, intentional or not, about individuality, image, and public positioning. Social media users instinctively recognized this duality, and their reactions reflected both amusement and analytical interpretation. The memes, of course, were central to the narrative. Some exaggerated the outfit's starkness, likening it to ceremonial garb, statues, or even toilet paper rolls. Others focused on the drama of her presence, emphasizing the juxtaposition between elegance and unconventional styling. Humor provided a lens through which audiences could process and critique her appearance without directly confronting the more serious implications of royal or brand expectations. Yet humor is rarely neutral. In this case, it underscored cultural tension, highlighted audience judgment, and magnified the stakes for both Meghan and Balenciaga. The virality extended beyond individual posts. Articles in major fashion and entertainment outlets embedded memes, screenshots, and social commentary, creating a narrative ecosystem where online humor fed into formal critique and vice versa. Influencers produced reaction videos, podcasts discussed the event, and panel discussions analyzed the implications for Meghan's image, Balenciaga's brand, and broader cultural conversations about celebrity and royalty. Social media had not merely reacted. It had amplified, analyzed, and interpreted, turning a single fashion choice into an event with cascading influence. Another significant aspect of the social media explosion was engagement from unexpected corners. International audiences, who may not have closely followed Paris Fashion Week, became participants in the conversation. Memes translated across languages, jokes adapted to cultural contexts, and commentary appeared in multiple time zones. Meghan Markle's outfit, in effect, created a global moment of shared focus and dialogue, demonstrating the extraordinary reach and impact of digital culture on contemporary fashion discourse. Emotionally, the social media storm was layered. Some users expressed admiration for Meghan's confidence and willingness to challenge conventional style norms. Others expressed ridicule, disbelief, or incredulity at what they perceived as a fashion misstep. The polarity of reactions underscored the tension inherent in public appearances by figures like Meghan. Visibility is guaranteed, but perception is uncontrollable. Each like, share, or retweet became both validation and amplification of this tension, reinforcing the narrative in unpredictable ways. Interestingly, the memes and commentary also highlighted the intersection of humor and critique in contemporary digital culture. Humor allowed audiences to process discomfort, confusion, or disapproval while simultaneously creating viral content. In Meghan's case, this meant that critiques were often couched in comedic exaggeration, satirical comparison, or absurdist framing. Memes likened her to avant-garde statues, ceremonial figures, or pop culture characters, each interpretation serving both as entertainment and as social commentary on the perceived audacity of the ensemble. Social media also became a tool for conversation about brand alignment. Discussions emerged about whether Meghan's choices reflected positively or negatively on Balenciaga. Analysts debated the potential long-term consequences for the brand, considering everything from consumer perception to investor confidence. Viral engagement, while increasing visibility, carried inherent risk. A widely mocked celebrity appearance can affect how audiences perceive a luxury brand's taste, strategic decisions, and public image. For executives, every meme was both a marketing insight and a warning. By the end of the day, Meghan Markle had achieved a rare digital feat. She became the focal point of a global social media conversation that transcended fashion, celebrity culture, and even national boundaries. Her outfit had ignited humor, critique, debate, and fascination simultaneously. Social media, in essence, transformed her appearance into a cultural touchstone, a shared experience that millions participated in, analyzed, and spread further. The virality ensured that Meghan's look would be remembered long after the runway show ended. Yet amid the humor, memes, and critique, the deeper implications remained. For Balenciaga, the CEO, and Meghan herself, this was no ordinary fashion moment. The public's engagement, amplified by social media platforms, had created a scenario where perception, influence, and brand identity intersected in a volatile and unpredictable manner. Every post reinforced the narrative, every share increased stakes, and every comment shaped the story. Meghan had stepped onto a digital stage far larger than Paris, one where the consequences of visibility and scrutiny were immediate and intense. And just when it seemed that the social media storm had reached its peak, reactions from celebrities, influencers, and cultural commentators began pouring in, further escalating the situation. Memes had set the stage, but these responses would turn a viral moment into a multi-layered, global conversation about power, perception, and influence, an event that would resonate far beyond the walls of Balenciaga's runway. But what came next? The intersection of celebrity opinion, fashion criticism, and cultural debate would push the story from viral sensation to full-blown controversy, and no one would be prepared for the intensity of the fallout. When Meghan Markle stepped onto the Balenciaga runway scene in her wrapped white ensemble, it wasn't just the public, critics, and social media users who reacted. It was also the celebrity world watching with bated breath. Celebrities, unlike casual observers, understand the optics, the stakes, and the potential fallout of public appearances in high-profile fashion spaces. Within hours, discussions and commentary began to appear from actors, models, influencers, and industry insiders alike. The reactions ranged from subtle digs to overt humor, admiration to disbelief, and, in some cases, outright astonishment. One of the first notable responses came from prominent figures in the modeling world. Supermodels and runway veterans, who have spent decades perfecting the art of stage presence, were quick to analyze Meghan's walk, posture, and choice of outfit. Some praised her poise, noting that walking in a challenging ensemble under intense scrutiny requires confidence few possess. Others, however, were less charitable, observing that the rigidity of the chest wrap and the flowing cape disrupted the natural movement of the body, creating an almost theatrical awkwardness that was impossible to ignore. The contrast between intention and perception became a focal point of discussion among those who understood the intricacies of fashion presentation. Actors and entertainment figures added another layer to the conversation. Known for their sharp social media presence, many used humor to comment on Meghan's appearance. Memes comparing her to iconic movie characters, statuesque figures, or avant-garde art circulated quickly, often accompanied by witty captions or playful commentary. The effect was twofold. It amplified the public's perception of the outfit as unusual or confusing, while simultaneously highlighting Meghan's prominence as a cultural figure whose fashion choices invite analysis, critique, and entertainment. Among influencers and cultural commentators, reactions were equally mixed. Some praised her for making a bold statement in an environment that rewards originality and risk-taking. They argued that Meghan's choice demonstrated confidence, individuality, and a willingness to push against conventional norms, qualities admired in both fashion and celebrity culture. Others criticized the ensemble as tone-deaf, suggesting that the outfit's avant-garde elements clashed with her royal image and created a sense of visual confusion. This tension between audacity and miscalculation became a recurring theme, both in celebrity commentary and in broader public discourse. Interestingly, the reactions often highlighted generational differences in perception. Younger celebrities and influencers, who are accustomed to the fast-paced, meme-driven culture of social media tended to embrace the humor and creativity of the response. They viewed Meghan's appearance as an opportunity for playful engagement, remixing images and creating viral content. Older figures, particularly those with direct ties to traditional fashion or royal protocol, were more likely to express concern, critique, or bewilderment, emphasizing the weight of expectation and public perception. Even within royal circles and those connected to the monarchy, reactions were subtle but telling. While direct commentary is rare due to protocol, insiders reportedly observed the outfit with a mixture of surprise and curiosity. Meghan, after all, operates in a unique liminal space where her actions carry symbolic meaning, and every choice is interpreted through multiple lenses: celebrity, royalty, and cultural influence. Celebrity reactions mirrored this complexity, blending humor, critique, admiration, and curiosity into a dynamic tapestry of interpretation. The intersection of humor and critique was particularly striking in celebrity responses. Many used wit to highlight the contrast between Meghan's appearance and public expectation, while simultaneously acknowledging the audacity of her choice. GIFs, reaction videos, and social media posts portrayed her as everything from a runway pioneer to a character from avant-garde cinema. This interplay between critique and entertainment underscores how celebrity culture, social media, and public perception intertwine to create a self-reinforcing cycle of attention and commentary. Fashion insiders also noted that celebrity reactions can have tangible consequences. Public commentary from high-profile figures shapes narratives, influences consumer perception, and can even affect brand relationships. When celebrities amplify a moment, whether through admiration, ridicule, or humorous interpretation, they extend its reach far beyond the original event. Meghan's Balenciaga appearance, filtered through the lens of celebrity reactions, became a multi-layered cultural phenomenon, reinforcing the viral storm already in motion on social media. Additionally, the reactions highlighted the tension inherent in public identity management. Celebrities, especially those with high visibility, understand the power of perception and the consequences of public misalignment. Meghan's appearance challenged conventional wisdom about appropriate attire for a royal figure in a high-profile fashion context. The varied responses from celebrities underscored the complexity of navigating this space, where audacity, individuality, and public expectation collide. Humor and critique also functioned as a form of collective cultural processing. Celebrities, like the public, used memes, GIFs, and commentary to negotiate their reactions to the unexpected ensemble. The comparison to Zoolander, for example, was widely shared and expanded upon, with other celebrities creating variations that both celebrated and poked fun at the visual impact. This playful engagement reflects a broader cultural dynamic in which humor mediates critique, allowing audiences to engage with complex social phenomena in an accessible way. Moreover, celebrity reactions often highlighted the influence of context. Balenciaga, known for avant-garde experimentation, provided a backdrop that both justified and complicated Meghan's choices. Celebrities who understood fashion history and the brand's aesthetic were more likely to interpret the ensemble as a bold, artistic statement. Others, focusing on the visual impact without contextual knowledge, framed the appearance as awkward or controversial. This divergence of perspective reinforced the broader conversation about perception, interpretation, and the power of celebrity visibility. By the end of the day, the cumulative effect of celebrity reactions was undeniable. Their commentary, whether humorous, critical, or analytical, amplified Meghan's appearance to an unprecedented degree. Every GIF, tweet, and post reinforced the narrative, ensuring that her Balenciaga ensemble would dominate discussions across fashion, entertainment, and culture for weeks to come. The viral moment had now achieved cultural saturation, bridging the gap between high fashion critique, celebrity discourse, and public engagement. Yet, even as celebrities weighed in, the broader implications were taking shape. The viral memes, the critical reviews, and the celebrity commentary collectively set the stage for a larger conversation about brand alignment, public perception, and the intersection of celebrity and royalty in contemporary culture. Meghan's look was no longer a moment frozen in time. It had become a catalyst for debate, analysis, and speculation, shaping narratives across multiple industries and cultural spaces. And just when it seemed the discussion had reached its zenith, the next wave of scrutiny, the intersection of historical fashion context, symbolic meaning, and cultural critique, was poised to propel the story even further. The celebrity reactions had amplified attention, but the unfolding conversation was far from over. What came next? The deeper historical and cultural context of Meghan's appearance would reveal layers of meaning that few had considered and would push the conversation beyond humor and critique into something far more significant. White has always carried immense symbolic weight in fashion, and when Meghan Markle appeared at Balenciaga Paris Fashion Week, draped in her long white cape-style ensemble, every observer understood immediately that the color choice was deliberate. But understanding the layers of meaning behind white requires a journey into history, culture, and the psychology of color in fashion. White is purity, yes, but it is also power, visibility, and audacity. A white garment commands attention, leaving no room for distraction. Every crease, fold, and drape is visible, every imperfection magnified. For Meghan, the stakes were immediate. The public was not simply looking at a dress, they were interpreting a statement. Historically, white has been a color of ceremony, significance, and rebellion in fashion. From haute couture runways in Paris to the bridal gowns of royalty, white signifies formality, intentionality, and elevated status. Princess Diana's wedding gown, a global spectacle, remains iconic not only for its design, but for its symbolism of purity, grace, and status. Kate Middleton, too, has consistently chosen white garments for formal occasions, balancing tradition with modern elegance. Meghan's use of white, however, diverged from these historical precedents. Unlike the structured gowns of past royal appearances, her cape-style ensemble introduced a flowing, avant-garde interpretation that challenged expectations while inviting scrutiny. In the context of Paris Fashion Week, white is both celebrated and risky. Designers often experiment with stark, monochromatic palettes to highlight form, texture, and innovation. A white outfit, especially one as bold as Meghan's, creates immediate visual contrast on the runway. It can elevate the wearer to a position of prominence or, conversely, render them vulnerable to critique if the design or presentation fails to resonate.